how's it going? Seems that somebody by the name of Orbits2 apparently has some doubts about the kind of temperatures I talk about having here in my living room every day, and most especially in these overnight hours. I should point out that it is currently about 4:30 a.m. because, well, I'll get to that. Anyway, this here is a thermometer calibrated in C and Fahrenheit, and you should be able to make out the current reading. Yeah, I can see it in the preview camera. Alright, that is the current temperature in my living room. This is in response to 2 comments by Mr. Orbits2. The first comment was deleted, but you see, I have long time ago set YouTube up so that it sends me an email every time somebody leaves a comment. This way I actually read almost every comment. Generally I read all comments. I don't necessarily reply to all of them, and sometimes I reply late, but I do read all comments, including the ones that don't necessarily get published or that somebody decided to delete, because YouTube still sends me an email when someone leaves a comment. And so there is this comment I received in email. They want to see the space heater. Okay. This is a space heater. It is a Lasco brand, and it can operate at like 1500 watts. At least that's how much electricity it will suck down. And this thing was sent to me I'm thinking about right about January, early January 2012, and I used it through the month of January 2012. My sister sent me that. In that particular winter, longtime viewers will recall that I was without heat then too. And so I used this device through the month of January 2012, and I used it until I received the electric bill. The electric bill was 4 times what it normally would have been. I haven't started the thing since, and I won't, because of that. Electric space heaters are a waste of power. This thing can generate enough heat to warm a small area, which I suppose would do if one lived in a closet. But you can tell here, this is not exactly a closet that I'm sitting in. This is the living room of my home, which also happens to be pretty much the one place where I spend most of my time, because the couch over there is where I sleep, and the computer here is where I do my video stuffs and gaming. And so the rest of the rooms in the house I have pretty much closed off, well, except the kitchen, which you can't close off because it's a walkthrough from the door to here. And I wouldn't want to anyway, because that's where the stove is. Anyway, so there's the space heater. It is a waste of mass. It is a waste of money to buy and use such a device, unless, of course, you have free electricity, which not I nor anybody I've ever heard of has free electricity. Anyway, so there's the thermometer reading in my living room. There's the space heater that apparently somebody didn't believe existed. Apparently Orbits didn't believe it existed. I don't know. Orbits2, excuse me. I wouldn't want to confuse the issue and accuse somebody named Orbits of something that Orbits2 said. Anyway, as for the current temperature outside, there is this screenshot from tinfoilchefdotcom It currently shows the temperature as being 37 degrees. I'm looking at it live on my computer screen and so on. But you'll note that the forecast called for 38 degrees by 6 a.m. And here it is 4:30 a.m. and the thing here is showing 37. And by 7 a.m. or 6 a.m. it may well be down closer to 35. So that's the outside temperatures. Inside temperatures, well, you saw that. Rewind the video if you'd like to see it again. It's ridiculous. Fraud, you say? Why would anybody keep their house at that temperature? Of course not. Now, in amongst all of this, okay, let me tell you how this came about, or at least my discovery of this. You see, I seldom sleep for more than an hour and a half to 2 hours at a time. And so in the night, over the course of the night, I generally wake up 2 to 3 or sometimes 4 times, because that's just the way it is for me. That's the way I've done it for years. And frequently during those wake-ups, I'll open up the laptop lid and I'll refresh the My Videos page and look to see if there's been new comments or you know, that kind of thing. And if there has been new comments, I will read them. I don't necessarily respond to them at that hour, depending on how awake I might be. Usually I'm not, but I read them. Now, I'm always interested in comments. I read all the comments, really I do. I don't always respond on time, but I said that already. Anyway, so that's when I saw these things from Orbits2. I don't know what the whole point of all that is, but okay, anyway. In messages, in private messages on YouTube, I had another question. I think it was YouTube, it might have been Twitter. Anyway, but it was a private message, so I won't give the person's name. I will just simply expound on the question and the answer. The question was, how much does heat and hot water cost in the U.S.? Good question. The answer is, well, okay, the short answer is, it depends. The longer answer is, it depends entirely on what your home's heating system is designed to use and where you live and what company you get the fuel from. In my case, this house was built to use propane as its heating source. Apparently in 1977, when this house was built, that was considered a novel good idea. I don't know. I'm not so sure it was a great idea, but then again, natural gas is not an option because this area is not plumbed for natural gas. There is no natural gas supply lines, you know, customer supply lines around here. I don't know if there's piping going through here, but you know, the city of Cherokee Village, Ash Flat, Hardy, Arkansas, and so on are not wired up for natural gas. It might be an idea if it were, but it is not the case now. So you either use electricity or you use propane. The folks who built this house decided to use propane. I have a 250-gallon tank buried in the front yard. The furnace and the hot water heater both use propane. Okay, that much out of the way. What does propane cost? Again, that depends on where you are and what company you're buying it from. Here in northeast Arkansas, the price tends, now the price of propane fluctuates no matter where you are. It varies as much as the price of gasoline does. And right now, propane is going for anywhere from $2.30 to $2.50 per gallon. That's $2.30 to $2, from $2.30 up to as high as $2.50 per gallon, and that's US dollars. It varies. And the only time you ever actually really know for sure is when you actually place the order. because, well, another interesting tip about propane, or a bit of trivia. Say, for example, like me, there's a 250-gallon tank. If I made a phone call today and ordered it to be filled, assuming I had the wherewithal to do that, they would come out and they would fill it up to a maximum of 200 gallons. This is because propane tanks, they will not fill them past 80%. And most of the time, you lease the tank. And you lease the tank from a particular provider, and that's the provider you have to go to. In my case, the landlord bought the tank, and so that means that I can buy propane from anybody. Generally, I will use Anderson's because they generally have the best prices in the area, and I've been dealing with them for years and so on. To fill that tank, in the neighborhood of $400. To have enough propane to make it through the winter and still have a little bit left over so that I can have hot water through the summer, approximately 4 tanks. Anyway, I hope this has addressed any issues that Mr. Orbits2 or Mrs. Orbits2, I don't know if it's a Mr. or a Mrs. or an it. I don't know. No hate to that person, however, by the way, please. No hate. I don't know why they chose to express things the way they did, but hey. Asked and answered. You wanted to see a space heater? I showed you a space heater. It's a piece of crap. All space heaters are pieces of crap. I've never in my life seen a space heater that was worth the time it took to throw it away. Now maybe you've had better luck than I have, but for me, all these things do is make the electric meter spin like a helicopter blade. I personally don't care to spend all that kind of money on power that is not heating the home and is not capable of it. Nor do I care to move into a closet. Anyway, that's what's going on. And I know this is a longer video than normal. Sorry, I had to address this stuff and so on. Thanks for watching. Take it easy. I'm out of here. I'm going back to bed. It's cold in here.